Hi everyone, Ryan from Fight Game Analysis here. Hope you're having a great day. And today we are going to be doing the analysis and prediction for Derrick Lewis versus Aleksei Oleinik. If you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button for this video and also subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support. So Derrick Lewis versus Aleksei Oleinik. This is a pretty good fight coming up. It's not necessarily like a contender fight or anything like that. Nothing's going to be, neither one of these guys, or if they pull the win off, are going to immediately be contending for the title. But it does put the winner in a decent spot in the heavyweight division. Now, each of these guys has his own set of strengths and weaknesses. It's like a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Now, you've got Derrick Lewis on the one hand. He's your classic striker. Okay, he's got legit knockout power in his right hand. He's got a whole list of guys on his resume that when he hits him with that right hand, he gets him out of there. He's had some cardio issues in the past, but it's something that he's been working on. Now, we've never seen him go 5 rounds just yet, but if you look at his last fights, his last 2 fights, he went the full 3 rounds in both of them. And in each one of those, he looked really good. In the past, he was gassed after a round and a half. So those are big improvements that he's made. He's also a really athletic fighter. Let me correct that a little bit. He's not really athletic. He's really athletic for his size, and so that makes him surprisingly quick. He's got deceptive speed to him when he's in there, and he's got deceptive agility. Now, he doesn't always showcase it, but for example, he can get that high kick up really quickly. I mean, he can catch guys with a high kick right in the head very fast. Look at that last fight against Ivanov. He was getting that up there with ease. And as a striker, that's a great wrinkle that he was able to add to his game. Now, on the flip side to that, he has shown not too much resistance to wrestling, we'll say. His grappling leaves a little bit to be desired. Okay, you look back at his fights against DC, Ivanov, and Latifi. Now, all 3 of those fights, those guys were handling him. They were doing what they wanted. They were able to throw him to the ground. Once they had him on the ground, they were able to keep him there for a decent amount of time. Now, again, going back to his athletic ability, right? He's got pretty good athletic ability, and he's got ridiculous strength. So even though he was on the ground and his technique isn't that good, he was able to explode and get up. However, it's not a good position to be in. Letting a guy take you down, hold you down for a while, even a couple minutes, doesn't win you rounds. If you're in there against a submission specialist, doesn't put you in a great spot. You're constantly in jeopardy for anybody to catch you at things. So it's not where he wants to have the fight. If it was up to Derrick Lewis, this would be a striking match. That's what he seems to continue to work on the most. That's where he seems to be comfortable. So his wrestling is a deficiency. He's also been shown to be a little bit susceptible to the right hand. His striking defense isn't great. Most notably, you look at that fight with Junior Dos Santos. He was getting caught with some clean right hands, which eventually led to him getting stopped. I like the fact that he seems to take his craft professionally. He seems to have added wrinkles to his game. He constantly wants to improve. He constantly wants to get better. For example, he's added wrinkles with his striking. He's gotten better with his cardio and things like that. So I like that. But he's still got some pretty major holes. And unfortunately, the holes that he's got in his game match up kind of decently with the strengths that Oleinik's got. So we turn around and we look at Oleinik. His striking is ugly. Not very good at all. He primarily focuses on that right hand. He'll throw it at weird angles, so he'll be able to catch guys with it, right? Throws it over the top, throws it straight, throws it at this little shovel punch. He'll do the dirty boxing technique where he comes in and he loves the clinch. He'll grab a guy behind the head and then work the uppercuts with the right hand on the inside to catch guys. So he does a lot with it, and he throws it with bad intentions really hard all the time. It's almost all he's got when it comes to the striking. So Derrick Lewis has a clear advantage there. However, Oleinik's game is built all around grappling, right? His nickname is the Boa Constrictor for a reason. He wants to come in there and just squeeze the life out of guys. So his thing is he loves to work from the clinch, and then he loves to get the takedown and work that way. Neither one of those things bode well for Derrick Lewis. Oleinik has a clear advantage when it comes to the clinch work. Lewis even lets guys into the clinch a lot of times, doesn't really offer a lot of resistance. If somebody wants to come in and aggressively close that distance, get his back up against the cage, get into that clinch and work from there. Lewis, he's got some tricks in there. He can do a few things. He's not completely helpless, but up against Oleinik, it's going to be a clear disadvantage in the clinch. It's going to be a clear disadvantage if Aleksei Oleinik gets that takedown and gets him on the ground. I mean, he's a submission specialist. The guy's awesome. He's got Ezekiel chokes, like 5 Ezekiel choke finishes, which I don't think maybe the most that anybody else has is like 1, right? It's ridiculous how good he does. He can do it from a standing position. He can do it on the ground. He's got all kinds of strangles from the back. He gets in there, takes the guy's back. He's got arm bars and everything. He's a legit submission specialist. He's a threat to anybody out there when it comes to that. So for him, the path to the victory in this fight is pretty straightforward. He wants to get in there. He wants to get in the clinch. He wants to get a takedown. And he wants to turn this into a grappling match. He wants to keep it standing and striking as short as possible and move right in his wheelhouse. Lewis is the complete opposite. If it was up to him, this would be a kickboxing match. He doesn't really have any interest taking it anywhere other than that. So the question becomes, right, we've got the strength and weaknesses for both of these guys. We can see how it looks. The question becomes, how is it going to look when they actually step into the octagon on Saturday? I think this one's going to be play right into the way that you see as normal for both fighters. So when it comes out, Aleksei Oleinik likes to walk forward. He's a plodding fighter. He's flat on his feet. He likes to come forward and close that distance as much as possible. And I think Lewis is going to allow that to happen. He's a flat-footed fighter. He doesn't mind ceding ground. He doesn't mind backing up step by step by step slowly, up to and including getting his back against the cage. He'll throw out little feelers. He's probably going to throw a lot of kicks out there. He seems to be doing that a lot recently, or a lot lately in his recent fights. So he'll throw some head kicks out there. He'll throw some body kicks out there, primarily with his lead leg. Oleinik's going to try to close the distance, throw big right hands over the top, underneath, work inside and get into that clinch. And that's going to happen. He's going to work in there. He's going to get in the clinch. Lewis is going to cede that ground. He's going to let him. Once he's in the clinch, he's going to try to grab him behind the head, work hard right hands to the head, to the body, things like that, and constantly try to set up submissions. He's either going to try to work into a good advantageous grappling position while he's standing, try to get some kind of choke. He's going to try to work into some kind of Greco takedown, a trip, and then get in, and then from there work into a mount, side control, get into a choke. That's his whole game. He wants to get into the clinch, do a little bit of damage, and then set it up for a submission. Lewis, on the other hand, once it gets to the clinch, he'll land a few shots here and there. He's got some knees that he's been working on. He's got some elbows that he's been working on. He'll land those. He'll eventually spin him and get off. And that's how the first few encounters will play off. Aleksei Oleinik's going to cover the ground. He's going to back him up. He's going to work into the clinch. Lewis will spin off. I do expect Oleinik to probably get him down at least once. And he'll get the better of the clinch situations. He'll land some decent strikes from the outside. And I even expect him to get Derrick Lewis in a bad position at one point during this fight. And when I say a bad position, I mean it looks like a submission could get cinched up. It looks like if things continue as they're going, that it would be all bad for Derrick Lewis. Like, that's what I mean by a bad position. I expect he'll get into at least one of those, and it'll probably be in the first round. Now, that being said, Oleinik does not have good cardio. Like I just mentioned Derrick Lewis earlier in his career thing, Oleinik does not have good cardio either. So he's going to put everything into that. He's going to get to that position. I don't think he's going to finish it. I think Lewis will be able to get out of that spot. He's going to get up, and then he's going to turn around. He's going to land the heavy strikes. He's going to get Oleinik out of there. 43 years old, the man gets gassed. He doesn't get that stoppage when he needs it early. Derrick Lewis is going to get up. He's going to tear him apart. Land big right hands. He throws good combinations. He's explosive. He's got a finisher's instinct. He'll be able to get him out of there. And I think that'll happen late in the first round, early in the second. That being said, I actually wouldn't put anything on this fight. This isn't the type of fight that I would bet on. I think it's far too easy for it to turn out where when Derrick Lewis gets into that bad position, he's not able to get out. He's not able to explode out of it. He twists or turns the wrong way, and Oleinik's able to cinch up some kind of a submission victory on this. So that I could absolutely see that happen, and it would not surprise me. Oleinik is cagey, man. He's slick. He's sneaky. He's done it to a lot of guys. It wouldn't surprise me if he was able to do it to Lewis. Derrick Lewis is he's able to be taken down and controlled on the ground far too easily by guys. A lot of times he'll be flat on his back. He just doesn't seem to have an answer for it. So when you get a guy who's as experienced as Oleinik is, but in that area that Derrick Lewis is weak in, I don't like to jump on that with any kind of definitiveness. It just matches up too bad. But yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, my opinion is I think Derrick Lewis can come away with the KO late first, early second. Don't think either one of these guys are looking to take this one 5 rounds and win by a judge's decision. So I think it's going to end early. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment on it down below. Do you think Oleinik's able to get to submission victory? Do you think Lewis is able to walk away with knocking his head off? Do you think the outside chance that this one goes the distance? I mean, I guess it's possible. What do you think? If you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and like this video and also subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support.